Friend, when I tell you this is about to be a really good video, it's about to be a really good video. How did we do this month? How did we do last quarter? How are we gonna do better moving forward? Hey friends, welcome back to our channel. I'm Lore. If you are new here, happy new year, babies. Happy new money year. New money year or new money year. Do you see the inflection change there? Anyways, I'm Lore and I am a finance enthusiast. I love talking about money and personal development and ultimately becoming the best version of you. It's a party over here on this side of YouTube. You should definitely subscribe if you haven't already. I'm gonna give you some time. Don't worry. Don't rush. All right, perfect. In this video, we're talking all about how to create a budget for yourself. We've got a new money year. Essentially, we have a brand new year to create some action plans and really go after our financial goals. Friend, when I tell you this is about to be a really good video, it's about to be a really good video. Pull out your pen and your paper, your Excel sheets, your Google sheets, whatever you got to pull it out, because we're going to be going through step by step how to create the budget of a lifetime. Before we start creating our budget for 2023, I would encourage you to create a vibe for yourself. Get into a headspace, get into a mood, a vibe, an aura. So many times we think about our finances and creating plans, financial planning, and there's a slight emotion inside of us that isn't necessarily the most positive emotion. You start feeling a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of uncertainty, maybe you feel a little bit of depression, sadness. I want you to chuck those negative emotions away by starting to normalize your finances being a positive experience. Overviewing your money is so much fun. You and your money are besties. It's like when you get so excited to meet up with your girls for brunch and mimosas. I want you to feel that same level of excitement when you sit down with your finances, to review them, to create a plan, to check in with yourself. How did we do this month? How did we do last quarter? How are we gonna do better moving forward? One way that you're gonna reprogram your mind to enjoy the financial process and rebuild that relationship with your money that is a positive one is to start creating habits and routines that have to do with your money that spike dopamine for you. For some people, that is lighting candles, that is pouring up yourself some mimosa, some champagne, some wine, doing a cute charcuterie board, doing self-care before you do your finances. Then your brain starts associating positive experiences with money. And then suddenly you start to realize, when I think about money, I'm actually excited. When I think about my finances and my budgeting, I'm excited, I'm happy, I look forward to it. You get excited to look over your finances. You get excited to create a financial plan for yourself for the rest of the year. You get excited when you think about generational wealth because you and your money are friends. You guys are partners. You work together towards your goals. Money is not the enemy. Money is your friend. Money is gonna look for you in a crowd to come sit next to you. Money is gonna look for comfort in you. Do I make sense or do I sound crazy? Either way, you and money have a great relationship. And that's what we're getting to. So if you got a creative vibe for yourself before you start creating your financial plan for this year or your budget, go ahead and do that, friend. Nobody's gonna judge you. As a matter of fact, we are encouraging it. We respect you for creating a vibe for you and your money to get together. Okay, get together and have a good time together. Let's move on. So step number one is you're gonna open up a Google Sheets or Excel spreadsheet. I personally love using Excel spreadsheet because the ex-accountant in me lives on Excel. Quick little plug, if creating your own budget and working with Excel and Google Docs and all of that stuff is just not your thing, you're not trying to do it, Good Girls Gone Boss has a template for you. The Good Girls Gone Boss Bossed Up Personal Budget Workbook is available on the site. I'm gonna leave a link down below for you. It essentially has some charts for you to just plug in your numbers. It creates a nice little graph for you. It's beautiful, it's aesthetically pleasing, and it's already created for you if you don't want to go ahead and create your own spreadsheet. Feel free to use code YouTubeFam for 40% off. This code is only going to be available for the next month. After you see this video, a month after that, the code no longer works. This code is only for the early adopters, okay? So if you're a part of the YouTube fam and you catch this from early, go ahead and take advantage of that code. First things first, like I said, you're going to want to open whatever spreadsheet document that you're using. I prefer Excel, but you can also use Google Sheets. What you're going to want to do is open up your Google Drive and then create a new Google Sheets. Go ahead and name this. You can call it 2023 budget. Let's rename this tab as January.
can go ahead and make this all pretty and look good and whatnot. Anything that sparks joy and will entice you to want to use your spreadsheet. I find that when things look aesthetically pleasing, you're more inclined to use them. That's why I like color coding my calendar, the budget worksheet, and all of that. So first column will be item, then we're gonna do group, amount, and then significance.
Now, step 2, you're gonna go into your banking, your online banking account, and you're gonna download your statements. Go ahead and download the last 3 statements so that you have an understanding of your current positioning when it comes to your finances. Where you at? Are you overspending? Are you underspending? Are you in a better financial situation than you thought you were? Or are you in a lot worse of a situation than you thought you were? Either way, start to get an understanding of your financial habits by downloading the last 3 statements. 3 months of auditing your finances is less overwhelming than doing the entire year or half a year, but it's still extensive enough to get an understanding as opposed to just doing last month. Last month might have been the holidays, might have been Christmas. It's not a true representation of how you spend, and you might start being hard on yourself with your spending based off of 1 month. However, doing 3 months, the last quarter of your finances, gives you more of an accurate picture of your true financial standings, your financial habits, and where you're at overall financially.
What you're going to want to do is sign into your bank and download your transactions. Now there's different formats to download your transactions. What you're looking for is the .csv version, the comma delimited version, because that ultimately is what's going to allow you to open it up in Excel or Numbers or Google Sheets. So essentially you're going to have something that looks like this. Of course, you're going to have way more transactions if you combine all of your accounts. It's going to look a little different, but we're just using this for demonstration purposes.
So once you've opened up your spreadsheet software and you've downloaded the last 3 months of your financial expenses, you have everything you need. And as I like to say, one of my favorite quotes, you have everything you need to get anything you want. And in this situation, you want to create for yourself a financial budget and a guide, a planner, if you will, for the next year.
You can simply just copy and paste. You're going to copy, Control C, go back to your spreadsheet, Control V, just paste the values only. We're just going to double tap this column so that the cells automatically resize to fit whatever words are in the cell columns. Then we're going to go back and we're going to Control C and once again and just paste the amount right here. Control V, values only. Once again, so that the formatting stays the same in terms of font, sizing, etc., etc. Now, as you can see, when you download your transactions, especially with credit cards, you're gonna notice that everything is inputted as a negative. This right here is a cashback reward. This is money I got back from my credit card. And so there is no negative here because it's money that I received. It wasn't money going out. We're gonna go ahead and put another column in between these so that we can do equals ABS for absolute values. Just for this cell here, we're gonna press enter. I love that Google Sheets gives you the suggested autofill. We're just gonna go ahead and take that. You might think that, okay, now that we have the numbers without the negatives, we're gonna just go ahead and delete this column, but you don't wanna do that because if you do, everything turns to 0 because it is a formula, right? So what we are gonna do instead is just go Control C, on there, and then we're going to paste special and we're going to go values only so that now we can delete this column and boom. I'm also going to remove the cashback reward because that is not a part of my budget. One of my credit cards is a cashback reward credit card. Any money that I receive from that, I don't want to be banking on it or including it in my budget. We're also going to format this to be dollars so that we have 2 figures after the decimal and its proper currency format. Of course, when you do this, you want to go back previous months and download previous months as I had spoke about earlier. But for demonstration purposes, I just downloaded the few transactions in the last few days. But let's just go ahead and add some transactions here that would be common. As you can see, we were able to enter in these figures on our own. You might not be able to download your transactions depending on how you bank, and that's okay too. Literally just open up your transactions on an app or something and just go line by line and enter it in. It's a little bit tedious, a little mundane, but we set up a vibe for ourselves, right? We set up a nice little vibe and we're gonna go ahead and go through every single transaction. It really does help you to get familiar with your finances. So we're gonna go into groups and we're gonna categorize each of these expenses. Now you can choose whatever categories or groupings you want, but I'm gonna go ahead and group them as I see fit here. So in this category of significance, we are gonna rate these transactions in terms of how important they are.
We're gonna use something called Moscow prioritization, which essentially is a principle that's often used when it comes to project management or just managing in general. However, we're gonna use it for our finances because we're the project managers of our finances. We're the project managers of our life. And so essentially we're gonna use Moscow to categorize whether or not these expenses are must have, should have, could have, and will not have. So must have is an essential. You need this in order to survive. You need a roof over your head, you need groceries, all that good stuff. This is a must have, a non-negotiable. A should have is, it's not mandatory to survive, but it essentially adds to your quality of life. That soft girl life that you built for yourself, you just, you should have it in there in order to feel like yourself. A could have is more so like, I could have it if there's some disposable income, if there's extra money to play with, I could have it, but it doesn't really move the needle. Yes, corporate language. It doesn't move the needle in our happiness or our quality of life. And then a not have is like, why did I even spend my money on this? This is crazy. I will not be spending my money on this again. I should have canceled this subscription from way, way, way back. I didn't. I don't need this expense in my life. Let's just cut it out, chop it out there's no negotiable here. Just like a must have is a non-negotiable, I have to have a roof over my head. A will not have is a non-negotiable, I will not be incurring these expenses ever again. Yeah, like bottle service. Why did you do that? Why did you even? I'm just kidding. I'm not here to judge your finances. Do as you please with your money. It's yours. Personal finances is what? Personal for a reason.
I don't believe in cutting our finances to the point that it's so boring and strict and there's no room for fun. Uber Eats is great and all, but whether or not I have it doesn't shape the quality of my life. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put it under could have. Something that someone would consider a could have that I'm like, it's a should have is travel for me. I really love traveling and I love the option and the freedom to just travel whenever. So that's something that I would consider to be a should have. Movies is a could have. Metro, that is a should have. I should be doing groceries. I'm just gonna put all of this into could have. Anything that's dining out, I would put could have. This specific one though, I'm gonna classify as a should have because that was a specific event. Audible, I barely use it. I have a lot of credits that I haven't used because a lot of my audiobooks I've been finding for free online. So I'm gonna put won't have. This is something that I should probably cancel my subscription. So your rent, car payments, and car insurance would probably be must-haves. Your gym, this is something you would consider on your own. Like, is your gym a must-have? Is it a should-have? Do you barely use it? Is it something that should be a won't have? I'm gonna go ahead for this example and put a won't have if you have a gym membership that you don't use, because I think a lot of people have that, and you should cancel your gym membership and start working out at home. Let's say gifts, these are should haves because you would like them, and these are could haves. Either way, you're gonna go through and just categorize these things as you deem fit. There's no right or wrong, and only you would know what is considered a should have, could have, would have, etc., etc., etc. Let's create totals here. Over here, we're gonna do sum, and we've got $5,040. All right, so here comes the fun part. First of all, we're gonna go ahead and add filters to these, just in case you wanted to filter it by only the won't haves. Then you're able to see the transactions that you won't be having or you don't wanna duplicate. You could also look at just the must-haves. You can also filter by group or filter over here by places that you frequent often. What's really cool about Excel and Google Sheets and just spreadsheets in general is that you're able to create a pivot table so that you can kind of analyze your data a little bit differently. So we're gonna go ahead and insert pivot table. We're gonna select the data range that we're looking for, and we're gonna select from here, from item all the way down to here. We don't need to include the total. And then we're going to insert it to the existing sheet, and the cell that we're looking to put this pivot table is right here. Let's use that as where we're going to paste it. So once we've done that, we're going to go into rows and we're going to go group. And then we're going to go into values and we're going to put amount. Okay, we can go ahead and exit out of this pivot table editor. But essentially what we've done here is we've figured out how much we're spending on each category. So how much we're spending on entertainment, how much we're spending on beauty, how much we're spending on health and housing and transportation. And of course, when you go to do this, you'll have a more accurate representation of your figures because housing isn't just going to be this made up number for rent. Housing will also include your electricity, or if you have a mortgage instead, it's going to be your mortgage, it's going to be your property tax, it's going to be your HOA or condo fees, or whatever else is included in your housing costs. Groceries, you'll have a more accurate number here as well because you'll have a whole month of true groceries. This gives us a rough example, rough estimate of what it would look like if you were to put in your real numbers. What we can do over here is sort by the sum of the amount instead of sorting it by group so that we can get it in a particular order, descending so that we see it in order of most expensive all the way down to least expensive. So from here, you're able to look at these and recognize where the majority of your spending is and where you can make some improvements. Maybe entertainment is really high and you can assess, what are we doing with entertainment? You're gonna go right here and you're gonna go clear and you're gonna go entertainment so that you can see where your entertainment costs are. That's one way of doing it. Or you can also just double click right in here. Another sheet will open and it'll give you more details as to what was all included in your entertainment budget. Then you're able to assess, $1,500 for entertainment, is it necessary? Can I cut back on it? Or maybe dining out, maybe this number is really high and you're like, actually, I don't need to spend $500 a month on dining out. It's actually a really cool way to look at your finances at a glance. Another way that you can look at your finances is to categorize them by the significance. So we're going to create another pivot table. We're going to go insert pivot table. We're going to do the same thing that we did earlier, but instead of using group here, we're going to put significance. Then we're going to go values, and we're going to go amount, and we're going to go sum of amount and descending. And then we're going to be able to see how much of our budget is must have, should have, could have, and won't have. What I like about looking at your finances like this is you're able to see how much of your spending is non-negotiable in order to maintain a lifestyle that you're comfortable with. And so that'll really let you know, babe, do you just need to make more money or do you need to spend less? Because sometimes we think, oh, if I stop buying the avocado toast or Starbucks every week, I'm going to reach financial independence. And that's not always the case. Sometimes you need to make more money. Sometimes cutting out the avocado toast and the Starbucks is not going to make that much of a dent in your spending. As you can see, the must-haves are the highest expenses here, and that's rent, car payment, car insurance. But perhaps your should have is super high as well. And when you double click these to look at what it is, it's dining out, it's entertainment, it's grocery, and it's gifts. And these are things that you just enjoy and they just spark joy for your life and you must have them. You just really want to have them. And that's okay. If you have things in your life that cost money and spark joy, it's all good. You just need to make more money in order to sustain this. If you don't want to make more money, then you need to cut out some of the expenses. But either way, you can't continue to spend money that you don't have. So you're going to be the perfect person to take a look at your spending and decide on what you can cut out, what is non-negotiable, what you can do without next month, and how you can just build a better relationship with your finances overall.
This is just for demonstration purposes. Don't be paying too much attention to the numbers and the details and all that. You don't have to do that. We're just using one of my credit cards, but you might have 2, 3, 4 different credit cards that you use on a regular basis. You have your debit account, you have your credit card, you have your PayPal. You use all of the accounts that you use on a regular basis in order to plug into this spreadsheet so that you have an accurate depiction of your overall spending, not just one credit card, not even just your primary credit card. I want you to use your debit card and the credit card you use just for travel or just for groceries or just for gas. Like, use everywhere that money comes in and out of. Use those accounts to get an accurate depiction of what you're doing financially.
The final step to this is to duplicate it and use it again for future months. So you're gonna go here, right click it, and then you're gonna duplicate, and then you're gonna rename this February, and you're just going to delete all of this and do it all over again. And because we duplicated from January, you can see that these pivot tables are already starting to analyze what we're entering into this table right over here. You could go ahead and do it again and again and again for March, April, May, etc., 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 all the way to the end of 2023.
And essentially that is how you're going to create a financial plan for yourself for this year. I am wishing you so much positivity, so much happiness, so much serenity, all the good things that you deserve and you are wishing for. As you create this financial plan for yourself, I want you to know that what's yours is already finding its way over to you. All you're doing is creating a foundation and an environment for your blessings to land safely. You may have heard this quote before, but when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And we're not failing over here. 2023 is ours for the taking, baby. And we're creating plans for ourselves, not even 2023 and beyond, 2023 and beyond. The rest of your life is about to be the best of your life, and that's because situations that give you a little bit of pause, a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of fear, you're gonna take those things by the bullhorns and you're gonna ride it out. Let me know how your budget turns out. If you do create something, let me know what your template looks like. Just tag me on Instagram, tag me in your story, friend. Let me know how it looks. I just know you're gonna kill this year financially. This year is yours for the taking. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, because they're lying. If they tell you otherwise, they're lying. And I'm just so proud of you for taking those steps towards creating the life of your dreams, because you deserve it. So bring it in, friend, bring it in. Hugs, yes. I love you so much. Love you to the moon and back. Beat you too. Mwah. Bye. Bye.